Hello everyone. I know it's been a while since I last posted a video. I hope you all are doing well and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about a new project which I have created, and that is Angular 15 CRUD. Okay, I already got so much good response on my previous CRUD video which I have created, and it is there on my YouTube, as you can see, right? It is, if you go on my YouTube channel, so I have this video already where I have a very good views as well for this. So that's why I'm saying I got a very good response from you all. So that's why I'm creating the updated version of this. Okay, the question, how is this one is different from the last one, right? So to answer that, we will see that in the demo. Okay, just to share that this has been on my mind for a while now, and I can't wait to share this project implementation with you all. So sit back, relax, and let's jump right into it. Okay, so as you can see here, right, so we have this created this UI by using Angular material. Okay, so again we are going to create a new project. We will see how we can configure Angular material in your project. So this is going to be a step-by-step project, so I want everyone to stick around till the last so that they can create this application without any bug and without any error. So let's just get into the demo. Alright, so as you can see, again we have created this header with the title with the gym registration app. So this is a gym registration app, and this is the logo of the gym, Fitness First. Okay, so as you can see, we have created this beautiful form, right? So as I have told you, this is a CRUD operation, so we need a form to create, right? So first, CRUD, so C means create, so we will be creating a form. So we have all these properties here: first name, last name, email, mobile, weight, height, BMI result, some radio buttons, then we have package to select, then we have some question to ask, and we also have the inquiry date. So okay, as you can see, let's go ahead first and create a form. Okay, so let's create a form. Let's give it a name as John Rico, email as johnrico@gmail.com. okay, mobile, let's give a random number for now. Let's give it in a weight of 75. So as you can see, right, if I remove this weight and if I try to type something here, I'm not able to do that. Why? Because this is a read only form. Unless I don't have value on this weight, I cannot enter my height. So let's first put up the height as 75, and now if I try to add any height, so that I can do. So this height should be in meters, so that you can also put it as mat hint here, so that the height should be in meters. So we will be doing that once we will be creating this application. So height should be in meters, so it is 1.7. okay, so as you can see, we are getting a BMI result as well. So this is calculated once we have these two value, and this BMI is calculated, and based on this BMI number we are getting the result of BMI. Okay, if you don't know what is BMI, you can just do a small Google, like it is a body mass index, something like that. So here you can check for that, BMI. So BMI is nothing but, you can just check here, BMI calculator. So this is what we are going to do. It's body mass index, as I have told you. Okay, so this is getting calculated by this form, by some formula which we are going to implement in our video. Okay, then we get this BMI result based on this number. Okay, then we can select the gender as well. So John is male, and does he require trainer? So he say yes. Okay, and then there is an option for selecting a package, so he selects a monthly package. And there is also one question: which of the following is important to you, like what motivates you to join the gym? So we get a different option now. This is not a normal select, this is multiple select, so you can select the multiple values here. Okay, so this is what, like he want total fat, toxic fat reduction, energy, endurance, fitness, and all those options he has. So he has selected 4 options, and now he's asking, have you been to gym before? So he say no, that's why he requires a trainer. And then inquiry date, he can just put as today's date. Okay, so once we have filled all the forms, what we can do, we can just click on submit. Okay, so once you click on submit, we are getting this toast message as well, that registration is successful for 3 seconds. Again, we can configure that, and we will see that in video, how we can create that toast message and configure them as well. Okay, so as you can see, this form has been submitted. How we can see the form? So as we have filled this inquiry, so what we can do, we have this button called as view inquiries. Okay, if you remember in my last video in Angular 13 CRUD, we were using a form. This is kind of a model, a dialog box. But in this one, we are not using a dialog box. We are actually creating a page, and on the page we are registering all those details. Okay, so to get the list we have this button view inquiries. So once you click on here, so we can see all the list of inquiries here. So let's start from the top as well. So here we have a back button as well, back to registration. So we can come again to the registration page, or else again if you want to go to the list page, so we have this button. Okay, so talking about the right hand side, so this is an Angular material table, and Angular material provides filtering out of the box. So once you configure all you have to do just to configure, and we will see how we can configure a material table in Angular. So here we can filter the record. So this is a global filter. Okay, so for example, I want to search for name, so I can do that, John. So I have all these options for John. For example, I want to search only female, so I think I don't have any female in my gym for now. So you can see this is all male. So we can do a entry and we can check if this is working for this column or not. So let's search for a BMI result. So let's search for a normal. Can you see I'm getting all the filter value as normal, and we have total 10 records which are normal. So if you remove this, so you can see the records got changed. Okay, so this is how we can implement filter as well. And in this table you can also do sorting and filtering as well. Like for example, I want to sort by name, right? H, J, S. So this is my ascending order, and if I want to do again, so this will be in descending order. So sorting and filtering both are here. So we also have a feature of pagination in this. So as you can see that we have created this again out of the box from Angular material. So once you click on this next, so we can go to next page, we can go to the previous page. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how we can see some detail of the employee. For example, if I go back, so here we have selected few entries, right? So these entries we can check, but if you see here in the list, there is nowhere it is mentioned. So that if you want to see, right, you have to go and view the employee details, the registered user details. So here we have these 3 action buttons, and this view buttons helps us to display that. So if you click on this, so we are routing to a different detail page, and we can see the detail of that particular user, like his name, email, mobile number, his gender, package, BMI result, trainer require option, and the goals what he has selected. Okay, so those things you can see here in the detail page. All right, now for example, if you want to update the record, so what you will do, so again we have an action button for that. This is edit. So suppose I want to change that, if I want to update something, if I click on this edit icon, so I can see I'm again routed to the update page, and all my values has been patched on the form. So all the values has been sticked. So we say it patching the value. So we have patched all the form value, and now I want to change my package from monthly to yearly. So I can click on yearly and I click on update. See, once I click on update, I can get again success message, updated successfully, and can you see my package got changed to yearly. Okay, now for example, I want to delete a record. So what I can do, I can use this the third icon, which is the delete icon. Okay, so once you click on delete, I will get a confirm box that are you sure want to delete. So if I say no, it will still there, but if I say yes, I want to delete this record, then the employee record got deleted successfully, and this is the number got changed from 19 to 18. If I show for this one as well, let's go ahead and do that. So delete, yes, now it is 17. Again, let's delete, yes, now it is 16. So which means our delete functionality is also working. Okay, so in this way I have demonstrated you how we have created this application, and we are actually did this CRUD operation. That create means creating the form, read means reading the form, right? We are reading the values, like for example the list of values or the single value, which is read, and U for update, like we are updating the form, and D for delete, we are deleting the form, like deleting the user. Okay, so that's how it is: create, read, update, and delete. So that's how we created this CRUD operation. All right, so as I have told you that this is going to be a step-by-step project, so please follow along to create your Angular 15 CRUD operation. Go ahead and first create our project. So I will be creating the project inside this UT project folder. So right click on this and open this into your terminal. So this is for the Mac users, but if you have Windows, then you can just open up your command prompt. You can just press shift, right click, and you can open that in the folder. So you can see I am inside this YouTube projects folder, and I will be creating my first application. So I'll just hit the command. So let me just zoom it for you guys. Okay, so the first command is to install an Angular app is ng new, and give the application name as Angular 15 CRUD, Angular 15 CRUD YT. Okay, this is how I have created the project. So Angular CRUD 15, that's it. Hit enter and it will ask for a few questions. So let's say yes, and I will be choosing SCSS, and let's just wait for it to get installed. Okay, so as you can see, my project has been installed successfully. So now I have to go inside the folder. So I'll say cd space and tab. So I have to choose the project directory. So it is Angular 15 CRUD. So press OK. So now I'm into my directory. So I have to open VS Code in this. So I'll just say code space dot. Okay. So as you can see, my project has been created successfully. The project name is Angular 15 CRUD. Okay. All right. So in this way, we have completed our step number 1. So now let's go ahead and let's do the step number 2, which is we have to set up this project. Like we have to install everything that what we'll be using in your project. Okay, so for that, for the installation, let's go here and open up this new terminal from the top. So as we are into your terminal, so first thing is we will be using Angular material. So let's go on the website of Angular material. So if you just open up your Chrome, so let's go here, Angular material UI. So on this website, you can just go ahead here, click on get started. So here you will get this command to like install Angular material. So let's copy this command and let's go inside your project again, and here you can paste that command. Okay, so ng add Angular material. So first it will ask you for Google privacy policy, so you can just say no. Okay, this is for the Google Analytics, so just say no, and then it will ask for the package will install your 15.1.1. so let me just zoom this a bit so that so it will ask, so just say yes, I want to install. So it will install all the required packages for Angular material. Okay, so now you have to choose a theme. So I'll just go with any of the theme. So I'll just choose this indigo pink for now. So I'll just go ahead and choose this indigo pink. Set up the global, say yes. Include animation, say yes. And now it will install the package and it will update everything for you. Okay, so once this is installed, the second thing we are going to use is Bootstrap. So again, let's go to the website bootstrap.com, get bootstrap.com, and here if you scroll down with this version 5.3, if you scroll down, we will be using the CDN setup. So let's copy this first and let's go in your index.html. Let me just make it this small, and let's go in the index.html and you can paste it just below this. Okay, in the head tag. Okay, and let's again go here and copy this JavaScript. So I think we are not going to use any JavaScript or Bootstrap, like we are not using any jQuery and setup. So we just need to use a pure CSS of Bootstrap, that's it. So this link is enough for this setup. Okay, so once this is installed, once this is configured, so let's see third thing, we need font awesome because we will be using few icons from here. So let's copy this first link. This is on w3school/icon/font awesome. So let's copy this link. Okay, and let's paste it in your head tag again. So just below this you can do that. So let's say Control V. Okay, let me make this a little small. So that it is fine. So I have my style sheet, so I can remove this integrity. It's fine. It's fine. So let's go here. So now we have Bootstrap and now we have font awesome as well. Okay, let's save the changes. Alright, now so two things has been configured successfully. The last thing what we need is we have to set up our project because I will be changing my themes a bit. So let's go in your project directory. So as you can know that I have to change a few of the stylings, so I will be using some custom stylings. So as you can see, so this is what it has been configured by Angular material. So this all gets added automatically, but I have to set up few things. Like I want to create my own custom themes, so that's what I'm, because I will not use the by default one. So let's go here and make use of Angular material theme. So say @use, and inside that you can just call your Angular/material. Okay, Angular material, and you can just call it as mat. Okay, and now you have to include the mat code. So we have to say include mat code, mat.core. Okay, and now what you have to do is you have to define your three themes: primary, secondary, and your one. So I already created that palette for me, so I'll just copy paste it in my here. So you can pause the video and you can get these 3 themes. Okay, you can just write it down if you want. So these 3 themes I will be using: the primary, accent and bond. And this is the palette what I'm using: red palette, amber and green palette. Okay, so once you have included this, so now you have to just say that define their light theme. So what you can do, I'll just again copy paste and I'll just paste it just below this. So again you can pause this video and you can configure this theme in style.scss. So now we have my theme created, and inside that I have defined my light theme. So this again method is coming from your mat what we have just imported here. Okay, material, and here you can just define the color: primary, accent and bond. So this color is coming from here. So this palette is being used as your color. Okay, so 3 color what we are using, and you can define your typography from here. Important thing that you have to include is that, so once you have configured all the styling, so you have to say include. So @include. Okay, inside that you have to say mat dot, then you have to say all component theme. Okay, and inside that you have to pass that variable what you are using. So that variable what we created is that my theme. This is my custom theme what we have created. Okay, so as you can see, this my theme is coming from this guy. So this my theme is defining your light theme from here, and this you are saying to include in all your project. So that's how we have successfully configured the custom styling which we are going to use in our project. Okay, so once the material is also configured, the next thing we have to configure is like what all components we are going to use. Okay, so I'll configure all the routing first of all, and then we will start the actual coding. Okay, so step number 1, we have to first create a component called as create registration. Okay, so for that what I will be doing, let's go inside the terminal. So I think my terminal is already open, so let's go here and let's clear everything. Okay, so let's create the first component. So ng, G for generate, C for component, and the component name is create. So first I will create a create registration. So create registration component. Okay, hit enter. So can you see the component got created, and this also updated your app module. So that's how you create a component in Angular, and the Angular CLI automatically updates your module as well. So whatever component you create, that gets declared inside your app module. Okay, so in the same way we have to create 2 more components. The second component is your registration list. So we can just say here as list, registration list. Okay, and the one more component I need is that is my user detail. You can say user detail. Okay, so I have created my 3 components, and I will also require some models to hold my properties. So I will create a model folder, models folder. So inside this I will be adding all my models what I will be creating in the future steps. Okay, and I will also create one more folder for services, because we are using Json-Server, right, to do the API calling. So we need, for API calling, we need to create a services. So that's why we have this folder. Okay, so in this way we have successfully done the step number 2 as well, where we have configured our application, that whatever packages and stuff we are using, so we have did that. Okay, but one thing to note here is, before that, as you can see that I was using like once I was creating or once I'm updating anything, so I was getting the toast message on the right. Okay, so for getting that toast messages, right, I used one of my own created library, which is ng angular popup. So you can get it from npm. So if you guys go on this website, ng angular popup, search for it. Okay, so what you can do is you can just copy it from here directly. Okay, and one thing to note here is that currently this package doesn't support the latest version, but what you can do is you can make use of like attribute called as force. So if you just say -- force, okay, for example like this force, so it will install this package in your application. So npm install ng angular popup -- force and hit enter. So once you hit enter, this will install this angular ng popup. Okay, so that has been installed successfully. So one more package what I am using is ng confirm box. So ng confirm box. Okay, so this one. Again, this library has also been created by me like 5 months ago, so you can also use this one as well. So let's copy this and let's go here, and again we have to follow the same -- force. Okay, so we have installed these two packages, and this also we are going to use. Okay, so as this has been installed, but to use them we have to first like import them in the app module, then only we can use them. So let's go here and import. So first is ng toast module. Can you see I'm getting this IntelliSense? So if you see on the top, this has been imported from ng angular popup ng toast module, and I had one more I have downloaded, that is ng confirm module. Yes, this one. So again this has been imported from the top. Can you see ng confirm box? So now I can say that I have installed everything what is required for me to start in this project. Okay, so now we will be doing this one by one. So before that, let's see if my application is actually running or not. Correct, then only we can say that we have installed everything successfully. So let's go into your app.html. So let me remove all this unnecessary code which it was there, and I can just have h1 as, and I can say that gym registration app. Okay, let's save this. No, the spelling is incorrect, so let's make it fix it, registration, and save it. Okay, now to run the application, how do we run that in Angular? It's easy. The command is just ng-serve. So the shorthand for that is ngs-o, and this will open up in localhost 4200 in the browser. So let's see if everything is running or not. Yep, can you see this is my h1 tag, my gym registration app is running, so I can say that my application is running successfully. Alright, so now let's start our journey of this. So what is first thing we have required, right? So first thing we need a header first on the top. So for installing the header, let's go in the Angular material. Okay, let's click on the components. Okay, so in the components we will be using something called as toolbar. So let's copy this toolbar, and I will be using probably this one, this third one. So first before using all of this, you have to go in the API. Let's copy this, import, go in the module, and let's import this first, mat toolbar module. So this, once you added here the import, so you have to use them in the import array. So I'll use them as mat toolbar module. Okay, now once you have added that, but one thing to note here is, so there is some icons as well in that toolbar. So to use the icon, you have to go again here, scroll up, and you will find something called as icon. So again go in that icon API, copy this, go in your app module.ts file, paste this here, and again just down this, say mat icon module, import that in the imports array of app module. Let's save the changes, both the places. Okay, and now you can go ahead and like copy this, what I just showed right now, the third one. So let's click this, and the third one is maybe this one. So I can just copy from here to here, copy this, and let's go in your maybe app component.html. Yes, here, and you can paste it here. Has been done. So let's save all the changes, and let's see if the compile is success. Let's see, Angular 15 CRUD. Yeah, can you see this is how it looks like? So can you see this is not looking good? So I know the reason, because you have to also import button, because these are the buttons of Angular material. So you have to go in the API and you have to import them as well. So import the button module. So again, let's go in your project. So let's see if this is Angular 15 CRUD. Yep. Let's go here in the app module.ts and let's import. Okay, we have added that, and let's import them in the import array. So it is mat button module. Okay, so once this module is added, you can save the changes. So let me make this small so that you can see the code. Yeah, this is added. Now if you go here, can you see? Now it is looking better, much better now. So now let's remove the unnecessary things that we don't, we require this icon on the right hand side and we don't require this icon. So let's go in the code and remove what is not required. So we don't need this, and we can change it to h1 tag, and we can just say the it is gym registration app. Okay, this is gym registration app, and you can remove these two buttons as well, or else you can just keep one button, because one button will require, but we require a raised button, not icon button. So it is mat raised button. You can remove the classes which is not required. and yeah, that's it. And you can change the color. You can change the color to one, okay, or we can change it to accent, because I need yellow color. So let's see which is the yellow color for us. So if I go, let's save and check. Let's save and check. And this icon I have to remove. I can just say it as view inquiries. Okay. Okay, sorry. Anyway, I can change it. View inquiries. I can save the changes. Yes, that's the color what I wanted. Save the changes. I can see I am able to get this button. Okay. So now the issue with this is that so now we have a spacer here, example spacer. So there is a reason that we have this class. So let's go here in the toolbar again, and in the CSS you will find the CSS. You will find something for that spacer. So let's go in the CSS file, and can you see this one? Just copy this, and let's go in the app component.css file, and you can paste it there. Okay, and save the changes. So once you save the changes, now you can see now we have the same header of what I have showed in the demo, the gym registration app and this view inquiry button. Okay, so now we have to design the form for it. So the form should come in the center of it. So let's go ahead and just design that. So for designing the form, we have something called as a component created, which is create registration. Okay, so now we cannot just go ahead and add the selector, right? Because we have 2-3 pages to show. Okay, so in Angular there is something called as, if you want to load a component, so we do it by using routing. Okay, so because Angular is all about creating single page application, so let's go ahead and configure the routing for this component called as create registration. Okay, so for configuring routing, we have a file called as approuting.module.ts. So let's open this file, and inside this routes array we can configure our routing. So the first thing is we have to select path. If the path is register, so we can just say the component name, which component I want to load. I want to load the registration component. I can say create registration component. Okay, this one I have to load this component. Okay, but if my path is blank, okay, if my path is blank, if the path is empty, we can say it should redirect to your register, because this is the first component what I want to load, and the path match should be full. Okay, it should exactly match the path, then only it should take that. Okay, so this is the feature of Angular, the path match full, a feature of actually routing. So now we have these two configure. So we can also configure the others as well. For example, we have the list, right? So we can just say path. If the path is list, so we have to load the component. The component name is the list. Yes, so the registration list component. So now let's go here and see. Can you see register is working here? Okay, and now what we need to do is that let's go in the registration, create registration, and let's say here this is h1. Let's make it as h1, so that we can see create registration works, but it is not showing. Why? Because this has to be, if you are configuring the routing, right, so you have to use router outlet. Okay, so this is your header section, correct? So just below that you should write your router outlet. Once you have your router outlet, so now you can just go here. Can you see the create registration works? So inside this, below this header, now you see your router outlet has been visible. If I change it to list, so can you see registration list works? Okay, so that's the benefit of using the router outlet. So where we are actually loading all our component inside this container, router outlet. Okay, so let's proceed further, and let's go ahead and design your register page. Okay, alright, so let's go ahead and design your create registration page. So in the HTML, so we can remove this. Okay, so first thing I need the logo of the company, so I'll say div.logo. Okay, and whatever the text it should be in the center. Okay, and also guys, just to save some time, I will do some copy paste from my code snippet, so that I can save some time and I can explain you guys. Okay, so I will have my image, and inside the image I will put my image inside that gym logo png. So you can use any image what you want. You can just take any image from online and you can just put it here. So I have already created my image, so I will be using that one. Okay, and to this image I'll give a width of 300 pixel. Okay, that's it. So that's how my image looks like. Okay, so below this logo I want to display my registration form, so I'll say div dot registration form. as my class. Okay, and inside that I'll take a margin, so I'll say dot m3 margin 3, and I want to give padding, so I'll say dot padding 4. Can you see this is all coming from Bootstrap? That's why I have configured Bootstrap. So I'm giving margin of 3 and padding of 4. Okay, and this is my registration form, my CSS, my class what just I have created, and inside this div I will have my form. Okay, so whatever form I will be creating, the reactive form, all those fields will be configured inside this form. Okay, form attribute. All right, not attribute, form element. Okay, so now inside that, first thing I will be using is my div dot row. Okay, div row, and inside that I have something called as, again I'll use div dot col md6. Okay, so I have div col md6. Okay, and again I'll copy this and again I'll paste it below. Okay, so in this I will require a form, right? So to make use of that, so I will be again going to Angular material, and there is something called as form fields. Okay, so first of all I'll go here and import this, because I want to create a form like this, right? For example, let me just show, I want to create form like this. So for that I'll just go here and import this. So copy this and go inside your, again, app module.ts and mat form field. Again I need one more thing, which is mat input. So again I'll go in the API, copy this mat input, so that together I can write for both of them. So as I've added these two, so again I have to add them in the imports array. So first one was mat input module and mat form field module. Okay, so both the modules has been added. Let's save the changes, and now let's go in the form field and check which inputs we can take. Okay, so for example, all right, so I can take this one. So this is what I wanted, so I'll just go here and copy the second one. Okay, after copy, let's go in the your registration.html and let's paste it here. Okay, so this is mat label. So for our label, it should be the first name of the user, what we are going to take, first name. Then we have mat input, we have placeholder, we can just say here as first name, and this is just the icon if you want to use, so you can put inside this icons, and this is the hint. So I don't require this hint, so I'll remove this hint, and this is the mat form field. Okay, let's save this and let's go on the browser and see how it looks. Can you see now? This is the form what I'm able to see. Okay, so first, but the thing is I will also have the logo. So for the logo, I'll just copy paste it from one of my directory. So yes, I have added that already. So if you go in my asset folder, so I have this gym logo.png. Okay, so you can use any of your image what you want, so you can just go ahead and do that. And I have already added this in my URL as my source here. So now if I go on the browser, I can see that if I refresh this, so I'm able to see the fitness first. It is written here. Okay, and this is in center. There is a reason, because I have used something called as text center. So that's why it is showing in the center of the page. Okay, now let's see the next thing what I need to do is, so here I see I have the first name added. So I can just copy this again, the form field, and I can paste it in this div col md6, and this will be my last name. Okay, and again this is fine, and I save the changes again. So as you can see, I am getting form something like this, which I am really not liking it, because I want the width to be 100%, right? So what I can do, I can just copy this form field. Okay, go in the SCSS, and you can just say that width should be 100%. Okay, the form width should be 100%. So can you see now it is 100%, but again this is taking my whole space, so I want to make it in center. So what I can do is, either I can create this div into a container, okay, or else what I can do is I can directly go in my app component.html, this router outlet I can just copy, I can create a container of Bootstrap and I can put inside that, and I can also give a margin. So if I save the changes, right, so can you see there is no margin on the top, so I can just add here as margin top as 4. So can you see I'm getting a good space now, and this is how I'm able to see the first name and last name. Okay, all right, so now again let's go in the registration. So that's how the forms looks like to me now. Okay, Okay, so as you can see that two of my form is ready. This is my first name and last name. So let me just copy them and paste it just below because we are going to use the same. Okay, so the next step is that once we have added your first name and last name, so the third thing is we have to add is the email. So we can just do that. I'll just do some copy paste again. So this is my email, and again you can change this placeholder also to email. Okay, and the next thing for us, it should be the mobile number. So let's again replace it with the mobile number. Okay, and again change this to mobile number. Save the changes. So now again let's see the form. So that's how our form is about to start. Now it is growing. Email, mobile is done. So now what is the next thing what we need is, so once we have the mobile number, we'll go ahead and create the weight and the height. So what we have just added, right? So we'll just I'll just copy paste it, and just to show you, just to explain you what I have did there. So let's go back and Control V. So as you can see that I have this also ready. I'll remove this for now. Okay, so now here I have my weight. Again I'm using colMD6. Appearance is outline. I have my weight. This is my weight, and I can just put here as mat hint if you want. I can just put here mat hint. Okay, can you see this one, mat hint? So inside that we can say that unit is kgs. Okay, we can say that unit is kgs. Okay, and for the weight, for the height, again we can just copy this mat hint. Okay, and we can just put below the icon or somewhere, or just above the form field, and we can say it as unit is meters. Let's save the changes and let's see on the browser how it looks. Can you see now we have the weight and height, and again this is the icon. So to change the icon, what you can do is, we have this mat icon, right? So inside that you can take any icons. So again I'm using this icon from Font Awesome. So can you see this is far text height, and this is again, and this one is I'm using from material. So we have materials icons as well. So to get that, you can just search for it, mat icon list. Okay, so if you just go here, so you can see the list of this one, mat icon list. Here you can see find a list of items for your this mat icon. So you can just copy paste whatever you want to use. So I'm using both of them. I'm even using Font Awesome as well as mat icon list. Okay, so as that has been added, so now we have weight as well. Let's see what things we have. So we have 4 things here, 6 things here is ready. Okay, now after we have this, so now we need the checkbox, right? So for the checkbox, again let me just hide this for now. So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 field is ready. Again I'll say div dot col md6. Okay, now I require this what we say that a text box, a radio button. So why we require that? Because my question to that is, like, I can ask them, like, do you require training, like do you require trainer or something, like those questions I can ask. So to get the radio buttons, again I'll go here, and there is definitely something here what we can find is, okay, so let's check for it where we can get the radio buttons. This is the radio button. So I want something in horizontals, but before that let's again import this module. If you don't import the module, it will definitely throw errors. So again let's go in the app module.ts, Control V, mat radio module, again put in the array. Let's save the changes. So now we can use mat radio module. Let's see some example. Yeah, this one I can use. So I will be using this one. Okay, so let's go here and copy the code. Okay, once the code is copied, again go in the registration.html, and in the div you can just paste directly. Okay, you can remove all these things for now, it's fine, because once we will do the routing, the configuration, at that time we can not the routing, I'm so sorry, once we do the form validation, then at that time we can do. Okay, but for now we need 2 options, right? So what we can do is, so we have the mat radio group, correct? Let me just go ahead and remove the unnecessary stuff. We can remove this. Okay, and there are some classes as well I can see. So let's go here and copy the CSS. Let's copy the CSS and let's go paste here. Control V. Okay, there are some errors, so let's go ahead and solve them. So I don't require ng model. Okay, let's remove the ng model, and here in term of season I can just remove, and I can just say here yes or no. I can say yes comma no, because we have only two options, right? Either he can say yes, a trainer is required, or no, the trainer is not required. And I can just say remove this as trainer OPT, the trainer options. Okay, PT, that's it. And this trainer OPT we can just display. So let's copy this trainer OPT and let's paste it here. Control V. Let me make this small so that you can just have a look to the code. Okay, yeah, like this. So can you see now we have this mat radio button, and here it's asking for the value. Again, this value should be trainer OPT. So copy this and paste it here. Okay, so you can pause this video again and you can just have a look like what I have did here. So I have a div of colMD6. I had a label like here. This I can change, and I can change it to do you require trainer, and now he can select two options, either yes or no. So this is the trainer options, which will be visible as a mat radio button. Whatever option he selects, that should be visible here. So we can just change it to selected option is yes, like whatever he selects. So we will fill this value later part of the video when we do the forms, like reactive form. Okay, so this is also ready. Okay, this is also ready. So what is the next thing I have to do? Okay, so the next thing is actually completely similar to it. Okay, because once we ask for the trainer is required, right? So next thing we'll say that we have to select the package. So first of all, let's save the changes and see how it looks. Can you see? So now this is something like it is looking like do you require trainer and all those questions. Okay, so now let's see how I can change them. Okay, so the next thing is I can again copy paste, because the next one is completely similar to this. So copy and paste it down, and the next thing is that the gender. So I think I forgot the gender, so let's rename it to gender. And the radio options we can just remove from yes or no to male or female. That's it, right? Female. Okay, two options, and this we can change as gender, and again we can copy this and paste it here for the value and paste it here for the options, and we can say selected gender is whatever the value we will put. So let's save the changes, and again let's see on the browser. So now we have two things: do you require trainer, yes or no, and the gender, male or female. So whatever we'll select, we can just display it here. Okay, so I think I require some padding here, or some margin on the top. So what I can do is I can just go here for these two, empty as 3, which means margin top as 3, and again for this empty as 3. Let's save the changes and see. So now we have some good gap for these two options. Okay, all right, so now this is also ready. So now we required two more things, and that is your about the selection option. Okay, so that we can select the package, correct? So let me go ahead and let's see what we can use in this Angular material. So we have the select option, so because we have to select a package, right? So again I can just take this basic select. So let's go here and copy the code, mat form field, copy this, and just below this I can say div.colMD6, and inside that I can paste this. Now you will see there is an error. So I did this intentionally actually. So that's what happened if you just directly copy paste. So to use this module, first we have to import, right? So let's go in the API. We have to use the select module. So copy this, go in the app module.ts, Control V. So this is, we again need to add in the import array. So mat select module, okay, plus comma. So now if you added that, so now the error is gone for the mat select, correct? The only thing is this one. Okay, so this we can change, right? So we have different packages, so we can create some package. So let's go in the TS file, and in the TS file we have to create packages. So how can we create that? Again, it's easy. So we'll just say public packages equals to, we can just add an array like this. So we have monthly option, correct? We have a quarterly option, and we also have yearly option. Okay, so we have the list of packages. Okay, same thing you can do for gender also, guys. So for example, what I have just added directly there, so we can say genders is equals to male. Okay, so whatever the option what I did on the UI, right? So again you can just copy this, and can you see I added somewhere in the gender like this. So you can just remove this and replace it with this one, so they both are same, okay. So same thing, I have to replace this foods with the packages, correct? So let me copy the packages and paste it here. Okay, so this should be packages, and let package of packages, and now I can copy this and paste it here for the value, and I can also remove this and directly paste for the values. So now I will get the list of packages which I can select yes or like monthly, quarterly, or what do we say that, yearly. Three options: monthly, quarterly, and yearly. Yeah, three options, sorry. All right, so this has also been added. Okay, so now what is, okay, let's see how it actually looks. So now this is the option now, the which is we have right now, but I think we need some space on the top, and also this is not looking good, and this is because of this appearance. So appearance fill has to be replaced with outline. So because we are using outline, and here we have to give margin top of 4 pixel. So let's save the empty 4, so not 4 pixel, and margin top 4, this is something 10 or 12 pixel, I'm not sure, but we can check, you can check that on Bootstrap documentation. So we just add empty 4, and now I have a good space, and this is how it looks, correct? Monthly, quarterly, but this I need to change, right, the label. So you can change it from here, select package. Okay, select package. All right, so now after this, let's see the next one what we have to do. So for the next one, what I can do is I can just directly copy paste this. I'll tell you what is the difference in this one, because this one is a single select, but the one which I'm doing it now, it is a multiple select. So let's first create the label. The label is that which of the following is important for you. Okay, so we can ask this kind of question, right, to the one who is doing the gym inquiry, like what motivates you, like there are some multiple option he can select, correct? So here you can see that we have match select here. So only thing you have to do is you just have to change it to multiple, that's it. Okay, and now what, just by choosing multiple it will not do our job, so we have to change these packages as well, correct? If I save the changes, so now it is showing packages with a single selection, but here it is showing the multiple selection, correct? But we have to change the option. So let's go ahead and change the options here. So for that, again, it's easy. We just have to create a property here, property as a public property, and I can give important list, whatever they have, of type string, and like this. Okay, I'm just trying to show everything how you get. So for this also you can add this, if you don't add, TypeScript is smart enough to take that type automatically, but you can define the type as well. So that's why I'm giving both the examples. This is also valid and this is also valid, but it is always a good practice if you follow this, like if you are adding this, right? So it is always good, like you're defining your type. But if you don't define, then you can directly put the value, still the TypeScript will understand like what is the type, what you are actually, by actually seeing your data. Okay, so this is the important list which I have to fill. So what I will do is I'll just directly go and copy it from my snippet, code snippet. So I have it already ready, so let's paste it here. So this is the options what it should be visible on the UI. So again, if you want to use the same, you can copy, you can pause the video and you can just copy this. So now you get different options. Okay, so it is not saved. Why? Because you did the changes in TS, but you haven't updated that in the HTML. Okay, so this has to be changed with important list. Okay, and this should be important, and then again this will throw error, so you can copy and you can paste it here for value and paste it here for package. Okay, so in this way you have successfully completed this field as well. Let's save the changes and see how it looks. Wow, so this is like this. Now we are slowly we are approaching there what we wanted to create. Okay, all right, so this is done. So now the last two things we require is, the last one was if I recall properly, it was a radio button, and this one was a date picker. Okay, the date, and those two are very important. Let's see. Let's go ahead and create that. Okay, so the last two are what I told, right? The first one is a radio, so let's go and see where we have the radio option already. So yes, this is the radio option, so I can just copy this directly, this div, copy this, and we have to paste this below colMD6. so just below this I have pasted where this colMD6 ends. I can remove this empty, I don't require the margin top, and this should be asking, have been gym before? Okay, and again he can answer only two things, right? Either yes or no. So I can create it directly from here, either yes, or he can just say no. Correct? Easy. All right, so but this you should change, right? So we can just change it to bin gym. I'm just asking, right? So it should bin gym, and I can just change it again to copy and paste in the value. This should match, right? And again to display it should change. Okay, let's save the changes. All right, so now this is also done. If you just see here, have been gym before, I can say yes or no, but this I should change the label, so I can change it to selected option. Selected option is, okay, this should be caps. Okay, fine. So now let's copy paste again this last colMD6, or else let's go here and say div dot colMD6, and inside this we need a date picker. So again let's go here and let's see where is the date picker. Here, this is the one. Again, you know the steps, right? Now you know the drill what I am already doing since so long. So we just have to import first, copy, imported, so sorry, copied, and let's go in the app module.ts, paste it. Okay, and now let's go down here and say mat date picker module. Okay, so whenever you are using date picker module, one thing to always note, that which I have always encountered, you have to import one more module, that is mat native date module. So mat native date module, you should also add this as well. Again, if you go on the top, this is also imported from Angular material /core. So this is the date picker and this is the mat native date. So whenever you are using date picker, you should always import this module as well. Okay, so please remember these two modules has to be added to use date picker. Now let's go in the overview and we can use this basic date picker. So let's see in the code, and you can directly copy this mat form field, and now let's go in your create registration.html and you can paste it here. Okay, so you can just click choose date, and this appearance should be again outline. Okay, this is the date picker, toggle picker. Let's save and check. Let's see how it looks. As I can see, it throwing error because I haven't saved the changes, saved the module, so that's why. Let's save all the changes, and now there is no error, and now you can just see that how it looks. Can you see? Now we have this choose option, and here we can choose the date. Correct? So now we can choose the date as well. So we can just say here choose a date to inquiry date. So let's remove that and we can just change it to inquiry date. Okay, let's save the changes, and in this way we have successfully created our form. So our form HTML is ready. Correct? The template is completely ready. Okay, so now what we need to do is we have to create a reactive form to bind all the values. Correct? So but once our form is ready, we can click on submit button to like close the form, right? Okay, so let me just show you again what all things we have added, right? So that no one should miss any steps. So in this way we have actually added everything in this row, all the colMD6. So I'm just opening one by one so that if anyone missed, they can just add it right away. So this is div for first name, then below that we have to write last name, then we have to write the email, then we have to write the mobile, then the weight, height, then we have the radio options. That's how you use radio buttons. Then we have the gender options, choose the gender, and then we have to add the select package, like select for selecting the package, mat select, and this is the mat select with multiple options. Then again we have a radio button to check if he has been to gym, and the last and important one was using a date picker, and that's how we have completed the form. Okay, so this is the step number 4, which was creating the form. We'll start with step number 5, which is creating the reactive form. Okay, so to create the reactive form, so let's see the steps to do that. So first of all, we need to have a form group. So let's create the form, register form, and this should be coming from form group. You can import this on the top. Can you see in the top it is imported? Okay, and next thing we require is the constructor to inject the form builder. Okay, so we require constructor to inject the form builder. So again, let's create a private field, fp form builder, and you can see it is in auto imported on the top. Can you see form builder and form group? So these two has been added. Now I will also require ng on init to initialize my form. So I'll just say implement on init. So let's go ahead and implement it. Quick fix, implement. So we require ng on init to initialize our form. So our form name is this dot register form is equals to this dot form builder dot group. So we are grouping our form. Okay, so what all fields we have? So we have first name, last name, and all this. So what I can do is to save some time, I can directly go ahead and copy paste from my code snippet, so it will be easy for me to save some time and to explain you the code. Okay, so can you see so this is the registration form. So let me just change the name, register form, and I have all the fields added. Okay, so one thing to note that we are not doing validation in this video, but if you really want that, no Shashi, can you do validation for us? So just put that in the comment section so that I will note it, and I will definitely create the validation for this video in future. Okay, so that's how I have initialized all my forms. So we have first name, last name, email, mobile, weight, height, whatever the field what you see here, right, what we have created as an HTML. So all of them has been created in the TS as well. So we have just what we say that initialized our form. Okay, so once this is done, so you have to go in your HTML, and in the form you have to call form group. Okay, and this form group you have to give the name. So what name you should give? You should note that always give the form what you have initialized, right? So for example, I have initialized the form as a register form, so you can just copy this and just paste it here. Okay, and now it is still throwing error because we are using reactive form, right? And to use reactive form, you should go in your app module and import this reactive form module. So say reactive form module. Okay, so once you have the reactive form module, now you can easily use the form group. Can you see no errors now? Okay, so now once you have this thing done, right, so now we have to bind all this form control, correct, with the HTML input. So what you need to do is on every input you have to call form control name. Okay, and then you have to say the name as, so for first name it is first name, firstname. So one thing to note that this all fields should match. Okay, if you change this name, right, then your binding will not work. And I have seen a lot of people complaining me in the comment section that my form is not binding. So this is the main reason actually. So I did for first name. Similarly, I have to do for all the fields. Okay. Alright, so as you can see, I have added all the form controls for all the fields what I have created in this HTML. Okay, and all of them are matching this thing. Alright. So now once that is done, let's save all the changes. Okay, and now what we can do is we can create a button, a submit button. So let's go here down somewhere here, yeah, md6, and just above the form, right? So we can see this is the div for our form row, right? So just below this div you have to create a button called as submit. So let's create the button, and the button name is submit. Okay, submit. And now what you can do is you can just give the name as attribute as mat raised button. Okay, and the color should be yellow, which is accent for us. What we have did the customization. Okay, now let's see how it looks like. So the UI will be almost similar. So just we can give some margin here if you want. We can add that. So for that, let's go and do that. So I'll just add a class here, class as margin top of 4, and save the changes. and now if you see, there will be a good space. So now this is the submit button. Okay, so once you click on submit, so this form should get submit, correct? So let's go ahead and create that. Okay, so on click of submit, on click we will submit the form, submit, and this method is not created, so it is throwing error. So let's go down and create the method submit. Okay, so what we will do is, so whenever there is a submit is clicked, we can just check if all our form is getting binded or not. So we are doing console.log, so we'll say register form.value. Okay, we will check the value. If on click on submit, I can see all the values or not. Okay, let's save the changes, and now let's go ahead and try to test it. So I'll just put some name, like some weight, some height, yes, no, select a package, select some more options, then select the gym before, select an inquiry date, and now let me open up my console. Okay, if I scroll down, let's go in the console. If I click on submit, right, so one thing to note that I can just see log all the values, correct? I'm able to log all the values. Only the two thing is not correct is BMI result and BMI. Okay, so let's see why is that case. Okay, so because I think I haven't added those two field, that is the reason. So I have to add those two field as well, and that is just below these two. Okay, I think I have missed that two fields, so let's go ahead and add them. Alright, so to add that, so I will be adding them just below the height. So this is the height, right? So let me just paste the value. Okay, so can you see I just added these two lines, so you can just also add at your end. So just below this height where it ends with this colMD6, I have added one more colMD6 for BMI, and this has an input. Okay, the label is BMI, this input is read only, the type is number, the form control name is BMI, and the placeholder is BMI, and this is mat input. Okay, and I'm using a mat icon, and for that icon I have this FAFA sort numeric descending, and this is what the icon I'm using. Okay, so this is my BMI, and just below that I have a BMI result. Okay, so this is my colMD6 mat outline, my label is BMI result, the input is again read only, I have a form control name, this result and suffix, and in that I'm using in my mat icon I'm using this check. Okay, so once this is added, save the changes, and now you can see two more extra fields added here. Okay, now it's easy. Now again, if you want to check, you can fill in all the details to check if everything is working or not. I'll just put some random values for now. Weight I can put, and this I can put, and this values I can just, no, this is a read only, that's why it is not able to fill. This is also read only, it's not able to fill. I can fill in all these values again. Okay, yes, and again I can put a date. Okay, and now if I again console.log, it should give me the value. Okay, let's click on submit, and in the console I can see the values. Okay, still this is empty because I'll give you the reason, because these two fields are read only. This field is read only, this only can read the field, you cannot type anything. Okay, so these two fields are read only. This value will be filled based on these two value, which is weight and height, because we will be calculating a BMI number, and this BMI number will fill this BMI result. Okay, based on that number. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this logic. All right, so now let's go here and create that logic in the TS file. Okay, so for that, to create that, so we will create a method called as calculate BMI. Okay, so let's create a method calculate BMI. Okay, so now what this guy will do, right? So this guy will take the value of your height. Okay, so it will take the height value, and based on that value this will do some calculation. Okay, so first let's take the weight. So how we can take this weight? So let's go and do that. So we have this dot registration form dot value dot height. Okay, dot height, this height I'm just taking from the form. Okay, and then the next thing I want to take the height, so I'll say const height is equals to your height value, what I will be getting. Okay, so once we have these two, so we can create the BMI. How we can do that? We can say const BMI is equals to, the formula for BMI is weight divide by height square. So we say height into height. So that's how we get the number, that BMI number. And based on this number, so we have to patch the value, right? We have to fill this value based once I put the height value, correct? So that I can do by saying that I'll say this dot register form dot controls, okay, controls, and in that which control I want to use? I want to use the BMI, and I say dot patch value, okay, dot patch value. What value I want to patch, which is I'm getting, right, the BMI which I'm getting. So this way that this value will get patched automatically, so we don't have to type in here because this is the read only field. Okay, so once this has been added, right, so what you can do is, so now based on this value I want to set this result value. Okay, so let's try to do that just below it. So we create a switch case, okay, and I want to switch the true value. Okay, so what is the case? My case will be if my BMI value is less than 18.5. okay, if my my body mass index is less than 18.5, then I want to set a value called as this dot register form dot controls. Inside that I want to set the BMI result. This value I want to set, so I'll say dot patch value. What value I want to patch? If it is less than 18, then you are underweight. Okay, then you are underweight. Alright, so based on this I will create some other cases. So let me copy this case. Okay, let me paste it here. Second, third. So what is my second case? Let me just open up this like this. Okay, alright, if my BMI is greater than equal to 18.5, and if my BMI is less than 25, then what I want to say, you are a normal weight. So I can say normal. Okay, it's a normal weight. Okay, but if I have one more case, so this case is something different. So now in this, if the BMI is greater than equal to 25, and if my BMI is less than 30, okay, if it is less than 30, if this is the case, so what I can do, I can just say it as you are overweight. Alright, or else I can just patch one default value as, if nothing is matching the case, right, then it is, oops, so okay, if no value is matching, then you are like this weight. So let's save the changes. Okay, so when this calculate will get triggered, so for example, once I'm able to type the height, right, so see, if you see the reason, right, once I have a weight, right, 12, then only I can type this. If the user have not written the weight like 56, then only I can able to type. Suppose this weight is blank and I'm just trying to type height here, so this should not be allowed. First we have to type weight, then only I can type height. So to do this thing, what I need to do is I have to stop the user, correct? So how can I do that? So what I'll do here is, so here I have a weight, right, let me just open up that height. So this I want to stop, so I have something called as field, read only field. Okay, and this read only, what I can say that if the value is blank, okay, if my value is blank, then only I can open that. Like for example, if this dot register, I'll just show this dot register form dot value dot weight. If there is no weight, then it should be read only. Okay, if there is no weight, then it should be read only, then I should not be able to type. Now if I save the changes, if I go here, if I am trying to type, right, see, I'm not able to do anything. But once I put your weight as 45 kg, and then if I see, now I'm able to type. So this is what I want to do, this is what I want to perform. And now whenever I put this height value, then it should calculate BMI and the BMI result. Okay, so let's see that how we can achieve that. So to achieve that, let's go in your TS file and let's go in your ng on it. Okay, so just below this we can say this dot register form dot controls. Okay, so we have to get this control called as height. Okay, so with this height, so whenever the value is changing, right, so we are getting an observable. So there is something called as value changes. Okay, this value changes, we can subscribe to it. Okay, and once we subscribe, it gives a response, and that response will be your height value. So we can say this dot calculate BMI, and this expects a height value, right? So this height value we can pass it inside that as a response. Okay, so this will call your method, and this response will have nothing but your value of this height, and based on this height value, this will calculate your BMI and the result. Okay, so let's save the changes and see how it actually works. Okay, completed the step 5. So step 6 is that we have to create the API service to do the CRUD operation. Okay, so to do the API service, as we are not using any actual backend here, so we will be using Json-Server to create that fake backend for us. Okay, so to use Json-Server, what you need to do is first open up your terminal. So if you haven't installed Json-Server yet, so to do that, the step is npm install npm I -g means global, and then you have to say Json-Server. Okay, so once you have installed this, after that you have to run the Json-Server. So after the installation, you have to say Json-Server --watch db.json. Okay, so this will create a db.json file in your directory. So let's hit enter. Okay, so now it is creating your db.json file, and it says that this is running on your port. So let's go on this port and check if this is correct. Alright, so here you can see that this is running on this port, and this is what the value looks like. So what we can do here, we have to remove everything from here. So let's go in the db.json file, and you have to remove everything from here, and then here you have to create registered, or you can say inquiry list. You can say inquiry, and then inside that this can be an empty array. Okay, let's save the changes. And now if you go on this website, can you see you are getting this inquiry as a single. If you refresh, there is nothing post. So if you go back, can you see there is only one inquiry object which is empty, correct? So we will be using this port to send all our requests. Okay, the post, update, delete, everything will be here. All right, so now once this is ready, right, so we have to use this URL as I have told. So let's go and check that again. So the URL was localhost 3000/inquiry. Okay, so let me just show you again. So let's copy this, because this is going to be our base URL which we will be using. Okay, now as you know that we have created a service folder here. So inside this we have to create a service. So let's generate a service. So the service name is API. Okay, so there is two ways to create this. You can either create by nggs and create the service name. So we don't require spec file as we are not doing any testing, so we can delete the spec file. And now let's go in the API service.ts. So inside this, let's create the base URL. We can say private base URL of type string, and we can just give the value to this. Okay, the localhost 3000/inquiry. Okay, and to do the API calling, guys, we have to first inject the HTTP client. Okay, so we have this HTTP client, and to use the HTTP client, so we require something called as HTTP client module. So let's go in your app module, and you have to import HTTP client module. Okay, so once this is imported, then now you can say that you can do API calling easily. So now API calling will be working. Okay, so let's go ahead and create few services. Okay, so again, to save some time, I will be directly taking it from my code snippet, and I can explain you that code. It is very easy to understand. Okay, this is all our one-liners. So let me copy that and paste it here. Control V. So as you can see that now this is throwing error, so we can fix that. That's fine. Okay, so as you can see that this is what the for method we will be creating. So let's go ahead and first fix this issue. Okay, and then we will see this code. So we need to create a user object. Okay, a user model. So as you know that we have a model created already, so let's go ahead and create a user model. So to create a model, we can just say directly here as, let's create a new file like this inside the models and say user.model.ts. okay, and inside that we can say export class user. Okay, and now this user will have all the fields, the object, right? All the object it will be storing. So again, let me just take it from the code snippet and paste it here. Okay, so this user class will consist of all your form fields, which is first name, last name, email, mobile, weight, height, BMI result, gender, required trainer, package, important, which is a array of string. You can say list of string or array of string, have gym before, inquiry date, and the ID. Okay, so this all we have to store, right? So that's why we created this class. Okay, so once we have this class, we have to import that in the service. So let's hover on this, quick fix, and import. Okay, so in this way our API service file is also ready. So this is our API service file. The name is API service. So we have the base URL, we have injected the HTTP client, and now we have our five method created, which is first one is post registration. Like post, we are doing a post call, right? Whenever we create a request, right? So we are posting the request, and then we said this.http.post, what kind of value you want to post with, that is of type user. This will what it will return in back. It will return a user again, and we are using the base URL to, and we are sending this object to this URL. So that's how you do a post. Okay, and then we are doing a get registered user. So whatever we have registered, right, so we can get it by this API call. So this.http.get, it gets you the list of users with this on this URL, which is this. Okay, and then we have update registered user. So we are sending an ID, which ID of user we want to update, and we are sending the object inside that. So that's how you do. For deleting, again it's easy, we are just sending the ID, and this ID we can directly say http.delete, this user we have to delete, and then it does the delete job. And then we have to say get registered user by ID, correct? So we want to get a single user, okay, from the list. So I will be showing all of them in practical. So once we will be creating the table and stuff, right, at that time I will show you this, how these methods are returning what all things. So for now, let's save all the changes. Okay, then so to use the first API service, so we will be first doing the post call. Okay, so post call will be done in create registration component. So here you can see we have a submit button, right? So we can remove this for now, and once user click on submit, we have to do a post call. All right, so to do a post call, it's quite easy. We just have to do the API call what we have just created right now. So let's go ahead to use the API service. So we have to just inject that in the constructor. We say API and API service. Okay, and now we can do the API call inside this. Okay, so to do the API call, we say this dot API dot post registration. Okay, and inside that we have to pass the register form value. So we can say register form dot value. Okay, and we can say dot subscribe. All right, so in the subscribe we get a response, success response, so that we can just use it here. Okay, so what I will do is, if my user is added successfully, so as you know that we are using ng toast module, correct? So we have used this ng toaster module. So what we will do is, we will try to use the toaster. So to use the toaster, again you have to inject that in the constructor by saying toast service. Okay, this ng toast service. So that's how you have to inject this private ng toast, and if you see, all of them are getting auto imported from the top. So this is imported from ng angular popup. Okay, and now here what you will do is, so you'll just say this dot toast service dot success. I want to show the success response. Inside that, that's how we configure the message, right? So first thing we have to say the detail. We can put the detail as success, right? Okay, success, or else you can just change it. Yep, success. So what else you can do? Let me just fix this first. Yeah, success, and then we have summary here. Summary, we can say that user added successfully, like, or we can say inquiry added. Okay, and then we have a duration. So duration, that's why I put, you can put here as 3 seconds or 5 seconds based on here. So I'm using 3000 milliseconds, which is equivalent to 3 seconds. Okay, and once this is been shown, what we can do, if the form has been submitted, we can say this dot register form dot reset the value. So we can reset the form completely after the submitting. So let's save the changes and let's do the API call for post. Okay, so let's go here in the Angular CRUD. Let me just refresh this so that I should don't have any value here. So let's go back. Yeah, let's go in the register and let's try to do add some new value. John Doe, email, we can just say john@gmail.com. mobile number we can give some random, weight we can give for him 67, he's having height of 1.6, so his BMI is 26 and he's overweight. Yes, we can choose a package, we can choose some motivation, gym before, yes, we can choose the inquiry date as current date and we can click on submit. Okay, so once I click on submit, right, it was not showing anything here, no toaster message. But if you go here in the inquiry on this URL, if I refresh this, can you see John got added with an ID 2. But why it was not showing? Do you know the reason? Because the reason is that we have added the service and everything, but we haven't used the selector. So you need to go here and just add the selector called as router, sorry, not the router, sorry, this is lib ng toast. So you need to add this lib ng toast, and same thing you have to do for ng confirm. So for ng confirm also you need to add these two selector in the app component.html. Okay, so once you have added successfully, and now if you try to do it again, so I'll just put some random data. Okay, let's put some random data. Okay, and now if I click on submit, can you see inquiry added and I got a success and inquiry got added. So that's all. And now if you refresh this, can you see you got the third inquiry with the name, some random name. Okay, so in this way your post is working. Okay, and now you have to make use of get. Okay, so how you can go to that list, right? So currently you can do it by this. If you hit enter, so now you're coming on registration list. But what we need to do is, so whenever I click on this guy, I should go on this page. Okay, so let's try to do that. So for that, let's go in the app component.html, and here you have this button. So here you can make use of router link and you can just say /list. Okay, save the changes, and now if you click on view inquiries, see you are able to go on this route. So that's how you do the routing. So now I'm able to do the routing here. Okay, so on registration list you have to use table, right, material table. So let's go ahead and see how we can configure table. So for here what you need to do is, so I'll just go ahead and just try to use my code snippet rather than using the Angular material, but the few important steps that we have to do follow anyhow, which is importing the module. So first we have to import the mat tab module in this. Okay, so here we have already imported mat table module, and once you add it here, you have to also include it in the array, imports array. Okay, so once that has been added, right, so you have to search for the example of your table which we are using. So I'm using the one with all the features, yeah, this one with the feature of sorting, filtering and everything. So what you can do is you can just directly go ahead and copy paste from, or you can just take it from my code snippet which I will be using. Okay, so let's go in the registration list and I can remove all of this and paste this record. Okay, so if you see that I am using this mat table, so if you want to use the same, right, so what you can do is, so you can just go here and click on this view code. You can copy all this code and paste it here. Okay, so currently it is throwing error for mat paginator and mat sort, I'm for sure. So to remove those errors, you have to go here in mat paginator or paginator, yeah, this one, and you have to import this API. So copy this and let's go in your app module and let's press next and paste it here. And same you have to do for sorting. So there is a sort header, go in the API, copy this, go in your app.module.ts and paste it below. And again you need to import these two in the array. So mat paginator imported, and then mat sort table, sorry, sort module, it's mat sort module. it's incorrect. So mat sort mod, yeah, this one, the second one. Okay, let's save the changes. Okay, and now you see that the error just went off, the mat page error went off. Okay, now let's see about this displayed column and all those. Let's try to fix them one by one. Okay, so as we are using those paginators, so what we have to do is we have to call them here. Okay, so let's call them one by one. Okay, so we have to import these three things from Angular material. So mat table data source, again coming from this, mat sort coming from here, and mat paginator. Okay, so once we have added them, so now we have to create our data source. So let's go ahead and create your data source. So how you can do that? You can just say public data source, or else you can directly go and copy paste. So let's copy this data source and let's paste it here. Okay, and this data source is nothing but coming from mat data source. Okay, this is what you have just imported, mat table data source, sorry. And inside that you just need to provide the type, and the type will be user, what we have created. Okay, that's it. And just below that I want to create one more column, not the column, one more property called as users, where I will store all my user list. So I'll just say users, and this is my list. So this is like that. Okay, so these two has been done, and now I have to create all the display column. Okay, so I have to create all the display column to fix this issue. So let's copy this and let's go here and paste this displayed column. And again, this is an string, array of string, and what I can do is I can just directly copy paste, like whatever columns I want to add, right? So this I put inside this. So this display column is nothing but what columns I want to display. I want to display ID, first name, last name, email, mobile, PMI, result, gender, package, inquiry date, and action. Okay, so this all I have to display. Again, why I am taking this? Because I am just trying to follow the documentation of what Angular material provides. If you go in the mat table again, if you go in the examples, if you go in the last one, what we are trying to use, okay, this one. So they have did the almost the same thing. Like if they want to display the table, right, table data source, that's how they are doing. Can you see the data source is this and the display column is this? Because they have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, correct? If I just show you the code after below this, so they have 4 columns, so that's why they're having displayed column as 4. But for us, this is what we need to display, correct? So that's what we did. Alright, so once this has been added, display column, so now what you can do is you can just directly go and initialize the paginators. Okay, so I'll do is above this. So we have two things. So we are using view child. Okay, let's use view child and make use of mat paginator inside that. Okay, so this will be my paginator, and this is of type mat paginator. Okay, all right, and now next will be again for sorting. So again we say @view child, we have mat sort. All right, and then we say sort colon and say mat sort. Okay, that's it. So once this has been added, now we have to create our first method whose name is get the users. So for that getting the users, we have to use API call. So let's create the constructor, and as you know that we have already created the API service. So let's go here, let's say private API and then say API service. Okay, and now we create the method called as get users, and inside this we will be doing the API call. Okay, so how we'll do it? So we'll say this dot API dot get user, registered user, and we can just subscribe them. Okay, and we can store them if you want in the users is equals to response. And what we can do next, right, we can just initialize the data source and the paginator. So we say this dot data source will be equals to your new mat table data source. Okay, and inside that we can just pass the users. Okay, so data source has been initialized, and then we have to say this dot data source dot the paginator. So we can just give the paginator instance what we have created. And now down we can say this dot data source dot sort, we can just send this dot sort to it. That's it. And once you complete this thing, like now your API call is doing going to take all the list of users, but this will not work, right? Because we have to use them inside your ng on init lifecycle hook. So let's create the on init, implement the on init, quick fix. Yes, so now inside this we'll just go and say this dot get users. That's it. Okay, but there is still one error to fix. As you can see, it is showing apply filter. So what we can do is, so if you go in the TS file, so that is for filtering actually. So that is just mentioned somewhere here. Control F, let's see the filtering. Yeah, this one. So if you go in the TS file, there is a method they have created. Again, it is coming from the Angular team. So we can copy this method, apply filter, and let's paste just below this. And that's it. All the errors are solved. Okay. But do you think this will work? The answer is no. So currently you have just configured on the TS side. You have to do all of them here on the HTML side as well. Okay, so for HTML what you need to do is, so you have everything done almost, so all you need to do is you just need to change all these columns. So I'll do it for one and rest maybe you can try. So for ID it is fine, this is row.id. Second column is first name, so I can change it to, for the comment, first name column, and this column definition should change to first name. So this name and this should match, then only it will display. And this row dot, this should match with the API first name, which means this is what I'm saying. If you just see here, right, the API name, first name, last name, email, so this all should match with this row. So in this way we have successfully done for one column. In the similar way we have to do for rest of the columns. And what are those? Those are last name, email, mobile, and all of this. So for me, I will not be doing for all. I'll just do some take it from my code snippet. Alright, so now I'm just trying to paste all the necessary values. So can you see now I have all of them created. So this is my ID, this is my first name, my last name. So I change this and this. This is my email. This is my mobile, PMI result, gender, package, inquiry date, and I'm using a pipe here as well for inquiry date as a date pipe. Okay, you can have a look here. And then in the last, I need one more column. So I'll just copy this and paste it here, and this name would be action column. Okay, so let's change this to action. What does action column has? It has 3 buttons. So I can remove all this data, and in the data, in the TD, we will have 3 buttons. Button 1, which says that view. So we have button 2, which says edit, and we have last one, the button as delete. If I save the changes, okay, I have saved the changes, and if I go on the browser and I can see, if I refresh it, right, so it is throwing some error. Let's see what is the error and we can try to fix them. So it is saying that the duplicate entity was provided for inquiry date. Okay, so the problem here is that I did the copy paste, right, and because of that this issue came. If I scroll up, right, so we have 2 times inquiry date, and I told you that this should match with this. So the name is action and I have put here as inquiry date, so that's why it is not matching. So just do Control V here. So now action matches. Save the changes and let's go on the browser. So can you see now we are able to display the filter, and as well as we are able to display this table. If I just show you the filter is working or not, I can just search for my name. Can you see it is working? Okay, let's remove this. Let's remove this percentage, unnecessary percentage. So let's go on the top and remove this percentage. Let's save the changes. Okay, all right, now we have to design these 3 buttons, right? So to design these 3 buttons, again, what we can do is we just have to use material again. So we will be using matte icon button. Okay, matte icon button, and we can choose a color as well. So we can just say color as green. I want to give it as a green color. So for green color, what I have, right? So I have something called as one. Okay, same thing I can do for rest of the two. So I can copy them. These all are my icons button. So Control V, Control V. So this color I want to change it to yellow, which is accent, and this one should be my primary. If I save them, now if I show you, so now that's how they looks. Okay, but I need icons, not the exact text. So it's easy anyhow. For I, right, so we have fa eyes, so we can take it from there. So let's go here and copy this. Okay, so for view we have this icon. This is I. We can remove this, it's not required. The class is fa eyes. Save it and see the changes. I has been added. Okay, for edit it is a pencil. So again I can copy this and paste it for edit. I'll just change it to fa pencil. Okay, for delete again I'll paste this icon and I'll say fa trash. If I save all the changes, I can see we have view, edit and delete icons created. Okay, so currently we have did two things. We are able to add the inquiry, and we are able to view the inquiry list of inquiries. Okay, so now we have to do that edit and delete. Okay, so once I click on edit, right, so it should go on this page and it should fill all the details. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. So to do that, we have to first do the routing. Okay, to do the routing, we have something called as router link. Okay, we have router link, and here what we can do is we can have this array. We can just say here that you should go on detail page. Okay, and you can pass the ID for which ID you want to go. Okay, so currently we don't have detail route created, so let's go in your app routing and create that. Okay, so here we can create the path as detail. Okay, and but here one thing to note that I am routing by an ID as well, so I will also pass an ID after slash. Okay, and then whenever I'm going on this, I have to open up my new component called as user detail component. Okay, so this is for checking the detail page. Same thing I have to do for update. Okay, for update what I'll do, I'll say path space update slash ID. So which ID I want to update. So what component I want to load? I want to load the component name as create registration. I want to open the same component, but for this component I want to fill the record. Okay, so once that has been added, so once I click on this guy, I should go on that page. Alright, so let's go in the list page again, and I have to do for the edit first. So I'll go here and I say click. So once I say that, so I want to pass row.id. Okay, so this method is not created, so let's create this method called as edit. Okay, let's create this below, edit, and inside that I have an ID which I'm passing from the HTML is of type number. So what I can do is I can do the routing from here. So to do the routing, I have to inject something called as router. So private router. Okay, and now what I can say is I can say this dot router dot navigate. Okay, navigate where I want to navigate. I want to go to update page with an ID called as this. Okay, this is what it will go. It will route you to the edit page, like your update, and update is showing what. So this is the route update slash ID. So this ID it will pass. If I save the changes, right, if I save the changes, so if I click on edit, so can you see I'm going on this page? Can you see the route update slash 1? So this is the first one. If I go back again, if I do for the second, the ID is 2. If I do for the third, the ID is 3. Okay, but the thing is, whenever I click on edit button, right, I want to fill all the details. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. Okay, so to do that, what we can do is let's go in the create registration.ts file, and inside that, as you can see, right, I am having this id value here, so we can get this param value inside this ng on init. So let's see how we can do that. So here in this constructor I will be injecting something very interesting, which is activated route. Okay, activated route, and let's if you click here, it will auto import on the top. Okay, so I can show you, it is auto imported from angular/router. So this activated route will help me to get my value of user ID which I want to update. Okay, so let's create a property called as public user ID to update. This is of type number. Okay, I created a property where I will store the ID of the user which I have to update. Okay, and I'll go inside this constructor, ng on init, and I'll say this dot activated route okay, dot parents. Okay, parents dot subscribe. I can subscribe this value, and inside this I have a value. This value will hold my ID value. So now what I can do, I can say this dot user ID to update will be equals to your value. What was that ID looks like this. So inside this I will extract that ID, which is this 2. Okay, inside the user ID to update. Okay, so once I have this, right, once I have this ID to update, don't you think I can call this API, which is get user by ID, and from this value I can patch all the values of the form, correct? So this is what I am going to do now. So let's go ahead and create one more method, and the method name is register. Okay, or else I can directly call inside this API itself. So for example, I'll say this dot API service dot get user, register user by ID. Okay, and inside that I can pass this dot user ID to update. Okay, and I can say dot subscribe. All right, so in that I can say response. Okay, so what I can do is, with this response, what I can do, right, I can just fill the value, correct, fill the form value, correct. So I will create a method called as fill form to update. Okay, and this guy will expect a value, correct, this guy will expect a user value which is coming from the response. So I'll say user is of type user, correct, fill form to update. So this method I will be calling inside this. So I'll say this dot fill form to update, and I'll pass the response, and this response is of type what, user, correct. So that's what I did here. So fill form to update is of type user, and now this method will fill the user form. How can I do that? It's easy. I'll say this dot register form dot set value. Okay, we have set value, and inside the set value you can just set all the fields. For example, you have first name, right? So let's how you do. So first name, you can say colon, I can say user dot first name. Okay, in the same way you have to do for all the fields, like from first name till whatever things we are using. So it should be comma and control V. Okay, so for us, so I just copied it from my snippet. So here you can see I have did for all the fields, first, last, first name, gender, and everything, whatever it was in the form, and I save the changes. Okay, so one thing to note, right, so what happens, right, in the ng on init, I called this activated route, I got that ID, I call the get user ID by user ID, and that it has the response of user, which I'm sending it to fill the value of the form. Okay, so now if you go here, right, if I try to click on edit, so now I'm able to see all my form value got set. And who is doing this to do that? This guy is doing this. Fill form to update is helping me to set all my values. Okay, but one thing to note, right, so whenever I'm clicking on edit, so this should not be submit, this should change to update. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. So to do the update, right, so again we have to create a property, and this property will nothing but will hold, right, update is active or not. So I'll say that public is update active is of type boolean, and the current value will be false. Okay, let's change this. Yep, update. So what happens, so whenever I am in this method, right, whenever I am in this method fill form to update, so what I can do it, right? So if I'm coming inside this subscribe value, which means I want to activate that, so I'll say this dot update the active equals to true. Okay, correct. So this we can do. If I save this, right, so now if you go on this page, if I refresh this page, right, so this will activate the update. Okay, and based on that I have to create one more button below. So I'll just copy this submit one, and just below this I'll have one more button whose name will be update now, and this update will not do submit, it will do update. Okay, so this is throwing error because we have to create it on TS. So let's go here, just below submit we can create the update. Okay, no errors anymore. And now here we have to use the boolean. So we have ngIf. Okay, ngIf the expression. What is the expression we are using? So is update active. If the update is active, not active, boolean, so I have to show submit. But if the update is active, then I have to show the update button. So control V, so we can remove this negation. Okay, so this is the logic for hide and show. So let's save this changes, and now if I go here, can you see I'm on the update and I can see the update method. If I go back, if I click on registration, so I'm able to see submit button. Can you see? If you say view inquiry, if I click on edit, again update. Alright, so now this is also done. So once I click on edit, I'm able to come on this page, but I want to update some value, right? So for example, I want to change this from quarterly to monthly, and once I click on update, so I want to do that. So let's see how we can achieve it. So to do that, again we have created a method, right, called as update. So in this update we are going to do the API calling. So for that I'll again copy the same method what I did for submit, because it is almost same. But the one thing to note here is that it is update registered user. Okay, and this will send the value, but this time I have to send also one more thing, which is user ID. Can you see the user ID? So you have to send the object as well as a user ID which I want to update. So I have already created it in this dot user ID to update. So this holds that ID which I want to update, correct? And I can just change it to inquiry updated if it is success. Okay, and we will reset the form, and what we will do is we will again go back. Again we'll go back to the first page, the list page. So to go back on the list page, we have to use routing, correct? Routing. So let me just remove all, like make this on next line. Yeah, so I'll just say private router. Okay, and now what I can do is I can just use this router to go on the page. So I'll say router dot navigate. Okay, I have to navigate to which page? I want to navigate to the list page. Okay, the spelling is incorrect. List page. If it is update is success. So let's save the changes, and now let's go here. Let's refresh this, and now I want to change it to monthly, and I click on update. Can you see inquiry updated, and the package has also been changed to monthly for Shashi. If I change it, if I change the surname now, okay, the correct one. So if I click on update, so update is success, and I see my surname got changed. So in this way we have successfully done for get all user, okay, edit the user. Okay, so those two has been done. Now we have to do for delete, and for delete is the easiest one I have ever seen. Delete is the easiest one. So let's go in the registration list, and we have to click here, make the delete. Okay, so again we'll do the API call. We'll say this dot API dot delete registered user. Okay, and delete, we have to pass an ID. Who will pass this ID? This ID will be passed from the HTML. So let's go here. So as you know that we have created this button, right? Delete trash button. So we can just say click and delete, and we can pass the ID which we want to delete. So we can say row.id. Okay, and this ID we just have to pass it here to delete it. So we can say dot subscribe. Okay, and one thing to note here is that, so this logic what I have just written here, okay, this logic what I have just written here is, I'll just show you. So I don't want to delete directly, okay, I first want to confirm. Okay, so to do the confirmation, right, so to do the confirmation and stuff, so we have created added a library, right, the ng confirm. Okay, so we will be using that confirm service. So let's go in the constructor. We have already added in the module, so we say private confirm service. So this is not the service, I'll say ng confirm service. Let me check in my constructor. Yeah, so that should be imported. Let me just do it. Import from ng confirm box. Yes, and I want the service ng confirm service. That's correct, ng confirm service. So we'll say here as confirm and then confirm service, ng confirm service. Okay, so now let's use this in the delete option. So what we will do is, we'll say this dot confirm dot, so we'll say show confirm. Okay, so this is the method which helps you to show the confirm before deleting. Okay, so show confirm, inside that you have to first pass the message, are you sure want to delete. Okay, so we can ask this question and then you can pass two callbacks for yes and no. Okay, so let's press enter, and inside that you have the first one for yes. If it is yes, then only you will do the API call. Okay, but if it is no, then you will do this, you will do nothing actually. Okay, so that's what it is. So let's go here, Control X, and let's paste inside this. All right, if it is success, then what you will do, you will just go ahead and create a toaster. So we already have a toast service, so we have a toast service, we have to again inject in the constructor. So I'll just go here and do private toast service, ng toast service. Okay, again this has been imported on the top, if you see, ng toast service. Okay, and you just need to change it to toast. So toast.success, I can say success, and I can say deleted successfully, and once that is deleted, I will have to call the get user again, so that it should update the value. So let's save all the changes, and let's go here and click on delete. So if I click on delete, it says are you sure want to delete. If I say no, nothing will happen, but if I say yes, so it will delete the record and this will update this as well. Okay, so that's how we have implemented get all, delete and update. Okay, so now what I need to do is, okay, I want to rearrange this thing. So I want here a button which will go and take me to the this page, the registration page. Okay, to this page. Currently it is not there. So what we will do is, right, so we will have to create that button. So let's go in the list. Okay, let's go in the list page, and on the top we can create that. So let's go here. So let's click some enters, and on the top we can click that. So we have to create div.reflex, and we can say justify content between. Okay, and inside that we can have our button. So button which says that to register. Okay, so button to register, so we can again just have it directly in this div. So we have this button, and which this has the router link, it will send us to the register page again, this page to commit here, and this is a raised button with the color of this accent. That's it. And this has an icon as well, which is icon says that towards the left arrow. That's it. So we have this button. Let's save the changes and see how it looks. Okay, so if I again go on inquiries, so this is how it looks, correct? So why it is like this? So what you can do is just copy this mat form, okay, and let's put in below this button. Okay, so once you put that below this button, now you see, right, so this is on the left and this is on the right. So that's what this deflex does. Deflex justify content between does. So now we have a button inside that, and we have this form as well. So one thing we can do is we can change the appearance to outline, so that everything is same for us, outline. Okay. Alright, so now if we click on back to registration, so here we come, and if you click on view inquiries, here we come. Alright, now the only thing is pending is the user detail, and then we are done with this video. So let's see how we can do that. So on this click of view, we have to go on the user detail page. Can you see? I have already did the routing. So let me again just show you in the routing page, like where I have done that. So if you go here in this routing, we have this user detail/id, and we are displaying user detail component. That's why whenever we say that, right, whenever we go back, like we click on this I icon, so it takes the detail/id, the first user, to display. Okay, so now we have to display the record, like a single record. So how we can do that? Okay, so for that, let's go ahead first design the page. So this is the user detail page. So if you go here, so here we have to do some designing. So to do this designing, what we will require is, we'll require a card component. So let's go in the material, let's search for card. Where is card? Yes, here is the card. Okay, so first import the API. Let's go in the module. Let's put this below. So we can remove the sort, not required. I'm not sure how it came. Okay, so we have to add the card module. So let's go below mat card module. Okay, mat card module. Okay, let's save the changes. And now let's see which example we can take. So let's see some examples. So I'll take this one for now. Can copy this code, and let's go in the user details.html, and we can paste it here. Okay, now we don't require this content, so we can remove this. We also don't require the image, so we can remove that. Okay, so we require the title. Okay, we require this title, and we also require this class. So let's go and copy the class as well, CSS class, because that's how we have the image. So let's go in the CSS and paste it. Okay, save the changes, and let's see how it looks. If you click on view, can you see this is how it looks for now? The avatar, the name, and this sub. So also what I can see, I don't require this mat action button, so I can remove them as well. Okay, so this is the thing what I have. So here what I need to do is, I just need to put my name, and I need to put the email address. Okay, that's how it is. And we need to change this avatar as well, right? So to change the avatar, you can just search on Google as well. You can take any URL, any profile URL, that's easy. You just need to change this. So I'll just remove this and paste it with some avatar. This is again, I'm taking from internet. So if you want, you can just take it, or I can put it in the description. Save the changes. Let's go here. Can you see now we have this avatar, red avatar, Shashi, and my email. Okay, so now for rest of those things, right, what I will do is, so what I'm planning is, let's create a list. Okay, so we have something called as mat list. So let's go here, and yeah, this one. So to use the mat list, we need to again import. So import the mat list, go in your module, and just down, just say mat list module. Okay, so once this is also added, let's go back and let's see what we can do with the list. So in the mat content, you need to add everything. So first we'll have a mat list. So that's how it looks like, mat list. This is how we actually write this kind of code, mat list. And inside the mat list, we have mat list content, mat list items. So mat list items. Okay. So in the mat list item, you can have your mat line. So we can say that div. Okay, and inside the div, you will have your mobile number. Correct. And just below this, you will have the button. And in this button, you can give your mobile number. Okay, now this will be mat line, so we will be using this mat line attribute directive. Basically this is a directive. Okay, so now we have mat list, inside that this mat list item, mobile number, and this, so this we can change it to mat button, and let's save the changes. Okay, if you just go here and see, that's how it looks like. So we have a mobile number and the value here. Okay, so same thing you have to do it for like whatever details you want to show, right? So you can do it for all of them. Okay, so I'll just do it for all of them just to save some time. Okay, so now I did all of them, right? So but here it is failing, so I can change it for now. Because this is I will be teaching it right now, like why I added this. So let me remove all of this for now. Okay, all right, so now for this goals I'm using mat chip. So mat chip, how we can get it, right? So there is something called as chips here. So this is how I was trying to show you the goals what they have added. So I'm using mat chip list for that. So to use it, so you just need to import mat chip list module, and let's go in the app module. Let's put here in the imports, and just below let's try to add that mat chips module. Okay, let's save all of them. Now there is only one error, so this also we can remove by adding an empty array. That's it. Okay, let's save all the changes and let's see how it looks like. So this is how it looks like for now. But what I need to do, so here we just need to paste all the values. Okay, that's all. But the problem here is that I want this to be in center. Okay, so for that what I'll do, I'll just do some changes here. So I'll make this max width to 800 pixel. Okay, and I can change it to display block, and I can say margin 0, auto, so that it should be in center. So 0, auto. Okay, so let's save the changes and see. So now it is in the center. That looks nice. And now what I need to do is, so I need to fetch user by ID, correct? And those user I want to display. For example, if I select Shashi, then I should see the name Shashi and everything, all the details. If I select John, then I see John and everything, all those details. So again, this is easy, right? We have did it already. For example, once I'm going on this route, I'm getting the ID, right, on the top 1. So for Shashi it is 1, and for John it is 2. Okay, so based on the ID we can fetch the record, and that we can display, correct? So let's see how we can do that, in the API. So first thing what I will do is, let's go in your user detail component, and first I need few important things. First one is on init. Let's implement. And next one is my favorite, constructor. Okay, now let's create two properties. So first property will be user ID, is of type number. Okay, and the second thing will be user detail. Again, this is of type user. So all of them are imported on the top. Okay, once I just press tab. So now in the constructor, what you need to do is, you just need to inject two things. First thing is activated route. Why activated route? Because you need to fetch the params, right? You need to fetch the params from the route. So we have activated route. Second thing is, you need API service to do the API call. So private API and API service. Okay, so what I will do is that, so in the ng on init, first I'll get the user ID. So I'll say this dot activated route dot params dot subscribe. It is the same thing what I did for the last page, the value, and then inside this I can say this dot user ID is equals to your value, correct? And then I will create a method to fetch the value. So this is throwing error because param is not assignable to of type number. So why? This is an param. So what is the param you need from that? We need ID value from that. Now that's how to fix this issue. So let's create a method called as fetch user details. Okay, and now let's fix this. Okay, fetch user details. And now here what we can do, we can just call this dot api dot get registered user by id, and in that we can pass the user id. Alright, so this user id I can pass it from here as well. I can say user id of type number. Okay, and this I can just pass it here, user id. And now I can subscribe. I can say this dot subscribe the response, and I can store them in user details equals to response. Okay, and once it is stored, so we have to call it here, right? So this dot fetch user id, this dot fetch user id, user details, sorry, by id, and then we can just pass this dot user id. That's it. And now we have to use this user details. So if I just show you in the console.log what we get, right? So if I do a console.log user details, okay, save the changes. If I do that, so let's show you in the console. So can you see I'm getting an object whose name is John. If I go back, if I remove this, if I search for this, so I'm getting Shashi. If I go back, if I go for John, second one, so I'm getting John. So that's how I'm trying to fetch this record. Can you see on this console I'm getting those records? Okay, so now we have to just display those records here. So it's easy, right? So we will be using string interpolation for that. So for all this record, so this I don't require anymore, so we can just say user detail dot first name and space, I can say the second user details dot last name. So this will display my first and last name, and this I can replace it with again user details dot email. Mobile number again we can replace by this user details dot. Okay, so this all also you can change. So user details dot gender, then we have package to show, so again user details dot package, then we have BMI score, so again user details dot BMI, and we can make use of a pipe called as, no, not for this, I think for the date we have to do. So again user details dot result, BMI result, and then trainer required, so we can do that again here. So user details dot required trainer, and we have goals, right? So here what we can do, we are getting list of object. If you see, right, if I just show you in the console again, so in the object if you see we are getting list of importance, like what you have selected, building lean muscle, healthier digestion, sugar craving body. So we are getting this array, right, array of string, so that we can just use it here. Okay, so we can just say again row, not the row, it is user detail dot important. So this is an array, and this is what we are looping it inside this ng by using ng for. Okay, so in the goals, that's how we have added in the button. Okay, and this will display all the importance what they have selected. And now if I save the changes, if I go on the browser, okay, it's showing me error for first name undefined. Let's see how to fix it. Just go in the mat card, you can say star ng if, and you can just say user details. Okay, if there is a user details, then only display this page. So control V. Okay, so we have put ng if with the user detail. Okay, if I save the changes, and now if I go here, can you see there is no error? Alright, so by ng if you can fix that issue. So now again if I go back, if I click on view, I can view the record of the user. If I go back, if I choose the different user, I can see the again the different one. Alright, so if I click on back, that's how we have completed this. Like now what you can do extra, right? So if you want to just try, you can just create one more thing here as a footer, like what I have created in the last. So it's easy, right? You can just create one footer for yourself, and then this application will be completely ready. So that I want you guys to practice that. Like let's create a footer, and then If you want, you can add some more extra fields to it, like if you really interested to grow this project. Anyhow, I'm planning that this whatever I have created, so this I will be connecting them with an actual backend, maybe in Node.js or maybe in .NET Core. I'm not sure, but I'll keep you posted. So do subscribe to my channel for that, because we will be creating a lot of stuff. And also, if you want that I should complete the validation for this part, then do let me know in the comment section that you need validations for as well for this form. Okay, then I will definitely gonna go and create those for you guys. All right, so that brings end to this beautiful journey of where we have learned about how we can create those CRUD operation. And this was a little bit advanced what I have covered in my previous Angular 13 CRUD. So I hope you have liked it, right? Because I have covered lots of topic, correct? If you just see in the module as well, right? We have almost covered 12 to 15 modules of Angular material. If I just show you here, right? So we have almost completed to 12 to 15 modules of Angular material. If you really interested, right, if you want like I should create more videos on Angular material or any other framework, do let me know in the comment section. I will definitely gonna create that for you guys. And if you have loved this video, then do give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more upcoming videos. Till that time, bye bye and see you.